Let us know. Apparently, we're live. Welcome to episode
Hello,
3 of
everyone.
Beer, Booze, and Boogeymen. Yes, I'm excited. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah, nothing on the screen, but putting the call out there to the chat. How are you guys doing this evening?
I'm stellar,
You're stellar.
considering the last 3 weeks have been hell. So I'm stellar.
Oh, there we go. We are up.
Yes, it just
All
popped up on mine as
right.
well.
All right. Go ahead and give us that intro again, Dee.
Again, episode 3, Beer, Booze, and and I fucked that up big time.
We are
Episode
100% prepared, ready to go. We are
Right.
crushing it.
We are, because this is episode 3 of Beer, Booze, and Boogeyman. And we were pretty pumped about this episode, right? It's going to be spooky AI and haunted electronics, Miss Kristen's idea.
Yes, yes. It was all a ploy just to get one story of a haunted Furby or a Teddy Ruxpin. So I'm hoping I got high hopes tonight. Somebody is gonna send one in or call in. Cause yeah, I didn't have one of those when I was a kid. What about you guys?
I never had a Furby. I had a Teddy Ruxpin, I'm pretty sure. I had a
Did he
talking Alf doll. That was pretty rad.
Al oh Alf.
Yeah,
Oh
Alf.
the
Yeah.
alien.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Do you remember what he said?
I don't remember. It was a drawstring talking doll.
Kill
so it.
me.
Oh.
Kill me.
Oh, no.
I don't. It's everybody's fitting in so natural here, but I do believe we have an introduction that needs to be made.
Do we? What are you talking
know.
about? I don't think there's any new faces in the crowd.
Joey. We forgot about Joey.
Joey,
yeah, Joey.
welcome
Oh.
back.
Yes,
Guest
let's
spot number 2.
And Joey is not in prison this time. So
Look, he
Man,
put a
I am
guitar
not in
in the
prison.
background, you guys. Look at
He
that.
did.
Well, I
At
mean,
least on
I do
bad
have a
behavior.
window too. I have a window, so that's kind of nice.
Yes,
no.
let's do an introduction. Let's have our special, very, very special guest
Yes.
introduce himself.
What's
Mr.
up,
Interscare.
everybody? My name's Interscare. I read scary stories on YouTube to help people fall asleep. I'm really excited to be here. Really happy. This is definitely in my wheelhouse. Listening to scary stories, telling scary stories, talking to people about their scary stories. That's one thing that I've never done is really talk to people about their stories. So I'm really excited about tonight. This is going to be a blast and look forward to just hanging out with y'all.
Yeah, we've really been looking forward to this. Gotta tell you, your show is awesome. I've just been screaming it from the rooftops on my episodes. Everybody's got to check out Inner Scare Sleep. I personally am one of those. I'm your demographic. I love to fall asleep to scary stories told in a melodic, soothing voice. That's my
Right.
jam,
Well,
man.
thank you.
And
Yeah.
ooh, that soothing silk voice he's got there. Yep.
Right. It is a fabulous voice.
All right. Well, let's go around the circle. You know the drill, guys. What are y'all drinking?
I'll go
Gil,
first
you-
then.
Okay, go for it.
Voodoo Ranger.
Voodoo Ranger,
Yeah.
nice
Classic.
choice.
It's a classic.
It
It's
is a classic.
It's terrible is what
She-
it is.
Whoa.
That's fired.
Whoa, that's brewed in Nashville, my friend.
Somebody get Keemstar here. We're going to have a drama alert.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Joey.
We somehow got involved in like Kendrick Lamar and the whole piss that's going
Did
back
we?
and forth already. We did. We are in it right now.
Oh, okay. Well, perfect. Shiva India Pale Ale IPA, pretty good. Made by Asheville Brewing Company.
That sounds good. Sounds very good.
It's already pretty good.
All right, I'll go. So I went with stepped out of my Sasquatch comfort zone and went with a sea monster. It's Colossal Cloud by Rogue. Yeah.
I can't find shit like this. I mean, I did find something that relates. I found something that relates to the episode since it's about electronics and everything. So it's called Dr. Robot. It's a berry lemon sour, and it doesn't really have much of a taste. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for my end. So
Wouldn't it be funny if it tasted like battery acid?
Yeah, that would be wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What are you drinking over there,
I-
Inner Scare?
I
Sorry.
do not drink alcohol. So I am a huge energy drink fan, though, right? So I'm drinking Interscare's very own. This is a very first, and this is the first time that I am showing it or announcing it to anyone. This is Nightmare Fuel. It is a prickly pear flavored energy drink.
Nice.
Pre-orders coming
Ooh.
soon, everyone.
All
Heck
right.
yeah.
Hell
On.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
I love me some energy drinks. Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's how we get
Especially-
through the day.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
Absolutely. You can fall
'Cause we've
asleep
got
with Interscare
problems.
sleep stories and wake up with Interscare energy drink.
Hell
You
yeah.
were cornering the market.
Yeah, for real.
Awake and asleep.
Honestly, it's
Ah,
the perfect drink to have when you're too scared to sleep. So
that is true. That is true. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, guys, let's see. So we are talking spooky AI and haunted electronics tonight. I think we've all kind of got a story here or there. I do have something special to share with everyone who is watching on the live and going to watch the replay on this. So I'm going to introduce somebody here right now and it kind of explain the dealio. If is it a good time to do this?
I
I want to
think
do
so.
it at the beginning, and then we'll
Yeah.
see how things go in the show.
Right.
So this is Lucky. There, he's looking at you. This is Lucky, and Lucky is a haunted doll that was gifted to me by my friend Dwayne Zazeski. Dwayne is in the comments. Thank you for jumping on, Dwayne. So the story with this creepy ass Seahawks doll, which is his other name, that's what Dwayne calls him. He would do stuff in Dwayne's apartment. We got a couple of videos from Dwayne. He would knock off Matchbox cars, the little,
Mhm.
little cars off his TV stand. We got a video of him knocking out a hat out of a closet, I believe. So there was some activity going on, which led Dwayne to believe that this doll here is haunted. And I said, bet. And he sent it to me. So, because I don't know how I feel about haunted objects, I've talked about this on my show. And so I've had Lucky here for about a month and a half, I believe, maybe 2 months. And he's just been chilling in my studio. And I called him Lucky right away because as soon as I got him, some weird stuff happened, but some very cool stuff happened too. So I was like, okay, your name is Lucky. Now the deal with Lucky though is he does not have batteries in him right now. Apparently, when you put batteries in him, he gets a little wild. So, for tonight's episode, for the first time of owning Lucky, I'm going to be putting batteries in him and I'm going to set him right here and we'll see if anything happens. So, he's going to join us in the live. And and that's what's going to happen. So, I'm going to call my bluff here.
Look, I'm
my
clear
vote is
across
he.
the.
My vote
I'm
is
clear.
he immediately goes off on a weird racist rant against people from Saskatchewan. just like what?
Look, I'm clear across the country from Kristen, and I'm terrified for her right now.
Are you scared?
I am. I'm like a little nervous.
See, apparently he says something or sings something. I've never heard Lucky's voice.
It's
so,
gonna be creepy as shit. What it's gonna be.
I think Gil's probably right. It sings something super racist against Saskatchewan
Right.
people.
It's a Seahawks. It's wearing a Seahawks jersey. So I'm going
Yes.
to
It
assume
is.
that it's not going to win a Super Bowl since 2014.
Oh.
True.
Oh.
When they
Oh, shots
We're all
fired.
just stoking the flames here.
Mhm.
Last one. Here we go.
I wonder if it had a Russell Wilson jersey.
I'm pushing the button.
Oh God.
These are freshly charged batteries.
Already dead.
Nothing's happening. I'm gonna set
Nothing
him
is happening.
I'm gonna set him aside
Yet.
here. And
Is there
we'll
an
see.
on switch?
No, I don't believe so. Nope,
I mean,
just the
don't
button.
pull the pants down on TV.
Yeah.
Live. Jeez, it's not that kind of show.
Ah,
This is how
Oh.
Lucky becomes unlucky real fast. Don't be
Dwayne's
real pissed with reason.
Dwayne says he's had no weird stuff happen since I mailed it off to you. I have had some weird stuff happen since I got him, and that was
You had
pre-batteries.
you had
There's
weird
like
stuff
one.
happening when you were unboxing it.
Yes, I
That's true.
did. Yeah, from day one, and we
Yeah.
took video of this. It was
Uh-huh.
very strange. So I had Lee videoing me as I unboxed Lucky. He was inside of a pack, so there's a bunch of other stuff. And the moment in the video when I get to like open his pocket of the bag, the video just cuts out, shuts down. So, so we
Can
had
we
to
play it?
start that recording. Oh, I don't have it handy. Shoot. I sent it to the group chat. I'm sorry. But that is what happened. Everybody in this group knows it. They saw it. And then a couple
Seen it.
other things.
Your
like a
dogs were freaking out.
they were free. They were. You can hear it in the
Yeah.
video. They were just going wild in the background as I was trying to pull this doll out of this bag. About a week afterwards
Mhm.
or so, it was just a random like I'll turn my phone on do not disturb every now and then just when I just need like a night, but randomly, and I did not turn it on do not disturb. Sometime during the night, turned on do not disturb. Woke up the next morning to just a flood of like missed emails, calls, texts. So I blame Lucky. And then the third thing, one last thing, happened recently. I was filming a video for this episode about haunted electronics, and I ended up using a voodoo doll that I got a while ago in the video. I was going to use Lucky. I was going to use him, but thinking wisely, I came to him first. I was like, "Look, Lucky, I would like you to be in my video. If you don't want to be in my video, you need to do something to let me know." And right at that second, I got a text on my phone. So I was like, "Okay." And I went and got the voodoo doll instead. Much safer bet.
Oh.
I do like to picture there's just like one very unlucky like postal carrier, just like postal service worker that just absorbed everything on the way to your house. It's like, all right, Lucky, if you don't want
Oh,
to be in the
man.
video, just do something, do anything. The guy's just hair just catches on fire and he's just running in the background in your neighborhood.
And that man, that postal service worker, was Frank Oldfield.
Frank Oldfield, man who didn't single-handedly take down the Society of the Banana.
Nope.
All right. What do you guys say we get into some stories? Although I
Yeah.
do recall Mr. Interscare. You know, you are a
Yes.
guest on this show, and when we were talking to you before, you mentioned you had a strange experience. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. You want
Yeah.
to start us? Why don't you start us off with the stories?
Alrighty. Real quick, I want to say hi to Wendy Bingle, Horror on the Rocks, and Nat Davies and Mrs. Interscare. Thank you guys for joining over on my stream. I appreciate you guys being here. Alrighty. So when I was about, it's probably 10 years old when I got the stereo, right? But I had a stereo. It was really old. It had like the tape recorder on it and like the tape player and had like a 5-disc CD changer in it or whatever. But it was one of those ones. And I was like 10 years old when I got it. But whenever I got into middle school, so I was probably around 13 years old or so when this happened, it started randomly turning on to a random static channel on the radio. Every
Hmm.
time I would be home from school, it would just be on and it would be on random static. So I thought, okay, maybe I turn like an alarm or something on it, you know. So I just would turn it off every day, never went through the settings to figure it out or whatever. Well, one day I'm sick, so I stay home from school and I'm sitting in the living room with my mother and it turns on to this random static channel again. So I'm like, okay, well, this is the time it does it every day. So I go and I turn it off. And then I go back in the living room and about 5 minutes later, it turns back on.
Mm.
So this time I'm like, okay, maybe there was like a sleep function or something. So I go and I turn it off again. And this time I unplug it because I don't want to keep having to run back and forth.
Yeah.
About 5 minutes later, with it unplugged, swear to God, hand on the Bible, the radio turns back on.
Mm.
It's on the static channel. I go in the room to check it out and it's on and I can see the plug still unplugged.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh. Okay, I have to ask, did you check for batteries? Did it take batteries?
It did not take any batteries.
Ugh.
It was one that only
Mm.
plugged in. So I'm assuming that whatever entity or spirit or whatever was in the home was emanating enough energy to be able to turn it on and do that every day at the same time.
Wow.
Ooh. I don't know what I would do.
I'm good. I'm good.
Did
with
you
that.
throw it away?
Well, at the time, I didn't really know what was happening. I was just a kid
Yeah.
or whatever. I was like, that's weird. Like, whatever. But no, eventually, yeah, I did get rid of it. It happened. I got rid of it whenever we moved houses or whatever.
How long did that take you? Of like every night, even after you saw it, to be like, "Whoa, let me toss that." I bet we better move and get rid of it. You moved.
Right.
You moved because of it. That's why, right?
Yeah, about 7 years later, actually.
Oh my
So
God.
about 7 years, every day it would turn on, and I never got rid of it until we moved when I was 18.
Wow.
Honestly,
Every
that's
day for
the
7 years. That's wild.
Yeah.
that's the radio to have in case of a natural disaster. Like you just never.
You never need to charge it.
Like,
Yeah.
Right.
honestly, you know,
Can you imagine
wild.
all the if the power ever goes out, like solar flare knocks all the power out, and then everybody knows what's haunted from now on because those are the only thing that work after all the
Yes.
power's gone.
Right. Right.
Oh man.
Isn't that fun? That totally traumatic and creepy stuff that happens to us when we're kids, and we don't think about it till sometimes
Yeah.
decades later, like looking back, like
Mhm.
that was horrible. That was horrifying. Whatever that was, I don't know. It was weird. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of stuff.
Wow.
Well, hey, real quick, just want to jump in. So we are going to be accepting calls a little bit later in the show. Can I just make the announcement right now? If you are thinking about calling in, if we pick up your call, be sure your radio's turned off in the background. All right. Just want to put that in there.
That's
All right.
Yes.
my life.
Speaking of background, I apologize if you hear a child screaming in the background.
I didn't want to say anything. I was like, this is like a ghostly voice.
Yeah,
We
no,
were just
that's
thinking that Lucky
that's-
was prepping the voice.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh,
That's inter screams in
I-
the background. That's
Enter screams.
That's awesome. There were comments coming in on the Black Cat Reports channel about hearing screaming in the background was being
Yeah.
associated with Lucky. So we already debunked one this evening right now.
Right. Right.
yeah, I do
That's just my
apologize for
Alexa.
that.
No, it wasn't not at all. Like Biscuit for the Biscuits said that they had to put on their headphones. They were like, is that what I'm hearing? Is that what I'm? And they had to like go put on their headphones. And they're like, holy shit, it is there, you know. But so it's
Hilarious.
it's not bad. They gotta, they've got your vocal gravitas to like live up to, your tenor to live. So they got to start practicing young, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
He's definitely working out his lungs. He does that.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So
Well,
what
real-
other creepy electronic stories do we have, in the group internally here?
We need to have a scream counter right above my head.
Yeah,
Right,
Every
right.
Oh,
time
that would
you
be
hear it,
great.
take a drink. Yeah.
So,
Yep. Oh, that's it. Yep.
Well, let's do a listener story. What did we
Yeah.
get submitted to us?
Mm.
I've got one pulled up.
Awesome. Let's do it.
Sent in by my buddy Chris from Fearful Encounters. If you guys don't know Fearful Encounters, go give them a follow on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. They got some good stuff going on over there. So Kristen, this may make you happy. This is about a Furby.
Making my dreams come true, man.
So here it is. So growing up in the late 90s, early 2000s, there was a popular toy called Furby. My sister had one, and she didn't want it anymore for some reason. She ended up giving it to me, and I didn't think nothing about it. I just thought it was a toy. I mean, we bought it brand new from a store, so there was nothing creepy behind it. At the time, though, when I went to bed right around midnight or so, the thing would automatically turn on and would say, "Whoa." So, of course, starting to get up and turn it off, thinking nothing of it. Maybe I thought it was just a malfunction, but this was happening multiple times throughout the night. But the main creepy part about this story is I finally took it down into the living room and I left it on our TV stand. I decided to sleep in the living room that night. Well, it was just me and my mother that evening while my dad was out of town. I was already asleep on the couch, and apparently my mother heard the thing going off in the living room and was acting like it was getting fed and making that sound, good, or whatever it was. It creeped my mom out. She eventually took the batteries out. Then she went to her bathroom, said she was getting ready for bed, and she said in the mirror she was looking at her closet behind her, and the closet door was opening up. She shut it, and it opened up again. Then she heard the Furby going off one more time in the living room, which remember, the batteries were already taken out. She woke me up and
Hmm.
made me come sleep in bed with her because it freaked her out a little bit. But we always joked and laughed about the situation, maybe thinking it was a malfunction of the Furby. Deep down, my mother wouldn't lie to me. She really didn't believe in the paranormal or anything about that. She was a real religious lady, but this day we don't know what it was, and I'm not saying it was paranormal, but I could tell you this was our Chucky of the late '90s.
Damn.
Dang.
I read that earlier and I was like, that's pretty wild. With taking the batteries out, then the closet door opening and it's still making sounds. That's a little weird. It's a
Mm.
little weird.
Mm-hmm.
For a
Yeah.
second in that story, I thought that the mother was gonna take the Furby and start drowning it in the sink when she grabbed it because it's like, no, no more.
Right. Well, thank you, Chris, for sending that in, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you,
Chris.
Thank you.
Chris.
Ooh,
That's awesome. That
Furbies.
scratched the itch.
Now, if somebody could just call in about a Teddy Ruxpin.
Yes. Well, I'm
What?
I'm getting a bunch of stories over here. Quick little stories from Dwayne. Dwayne, I'm gonna need you to call in later because you got
Yeah.
some you got some good stuff. I'm gonna take the opportunity here and just say hey to a couple of folks. Heidi, thank you for jumping on. Melissa, Dwayne, of course, and Frank. I saw you in here. Frank Triggs, thank you for jumping over here from. We know each other from Nocturnal Frequency Radio. Thank you so much, man. Thanks for joining. All right, back to you guys. Yeah, that was
I
nuts.
need
That
to
was what?
I need to do a shout out here, specifically to Harry Carey. Said,
Harry
and I'm so
Carey.
sorry to laugh, Kristen,
Huh?
but I looked at our chat. And Harry Carey may have had the comment of the evening. I'm gonna call it early. It was just my Furby channel, Stanton Friedman.
Yeah.
Stanton Friedman?
Nice.
Yeah.
UFologist? That's hilarious. Stanton Friedman kind of looks like a Furby.
Oh, I'm slow on the up dryer.
Oh my god.
Is
He
Stan
died.
Friedman still
Incredible.
alive?
No.
No. Well, he is in the
So,
form of a Furby, I'm assuming.
Bro.
so apparently on my channel, we haven't been streaming this whole time because I didn't realize I had to click the go live button because usually my streaming software does that for me.
Oh no.
So
Well,
I
we are
apologize,
live.
everyone. Now we are live on the channel.
Oh
Um,
shoot. It's okay.
but
I'll get you the
if you watch
files.
it on the replay, you should be able to see everything that happened in the beginning, though.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, what else? Let's do another group story. Do either you, Gil, or Joey have one? Oh, come on.
Hey,
You ain't ever had a malfunction with a ghost in the machine? Nothing with your laptop? Nothing?
there I do have one. It's very brief. There's no real long build up or anything to it. Actually, this caveat leading in is longer than the story, so you're welcome. But the um I don't remember how old I was. Probably 6, 7 years old, maybe 8 years old. And friend was over at my house, and my sister was there. We were watching the X-Files on TV in my bedroom. And through my doorway and through like another doorway, you could see a treadmill in the living room. And the light was on in the living room. I don't know how my dad hadn't managed to yell about nobody being in there and the light being on yet, but somehow that happened. So first miracle. But we're sitting there and we're watching the X-Files, and now this treadmill, I think it was like a red key or something like that. You know, they have the safety keys you have to put in there. You can clip it onto your pants or whatever. So if Fred Flintstone or whatever, if you fall down on shit and shoot off the end, it doesn't just keep going. Um, we're all just sitting there watching the X-Files, and of course, it's like the scariest scene possible. In the episode, the treadmill just turns on.
Oh shit.
And like you have to keep in mind, like this is, in all of our peripheral view. Like the treadmill the whole time is like in the background through the open
Right.
door, and just boom, like turns on. And I believe it turned off right after that, but like all of us just like jump scared. Oh, fuck, um, and nobody was in there. Our parents weren't in there or whatever. But I think that's the only real like haunted electronic story I have. Is just middle of watching David Duchovny do his thing. All of a sudden, the treadmill turned on.
Hmm.
It's my closest.
Surprised you
That's all
weren't
I got.
running scared.
Oh, oh, oh.
I'll drink for that one.
Take your penance.
Oh,
Speaking of which, since I forgot to hit live, can I reintroduce my drink to everyone that's on my channel?
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Absolutely.
So this is Beer, Booze, and Boogeyman, everyone, if y'all don't know. Basically, they drink while they tell scary stories, and they do listener stories, things of that nature. Well, as y'all know, I don't drink alcohol, but I do love me a good energy drink. And I have with me today the very first Nightmare Fuel. This is a prickly pear flavored energy drink, and pre-orders will be coming soon for everyone. So stay tuned for those.
Awesome.
Alrighty, I do
Sounds really
apologize,
good.
everyone. I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good.
It's so good. Yeah.
Joey, do you have any kind of stories?
So last week or last month, God, it feels like it's been a week since last time we aired. I had good stories, but this week the only thing that I have happened to me is waking up in the middle of the night, and just hearing Alexa go, "I'm sorry, I didn't hear that."
Shit.
Almost like maybe 3 nights a week.
Wow.
So I unplugged on Alexa, and it has not come back on. So I'm feeling good about that. There's no batteries.
Wait, when
I
did this
don't
happen,
think.
Joey?
It had been happening for a while, so it happened like 2 to 3 times a week for like a year,
Whoa.
and then I unplugged it. I know that's like burying the lead, and I tend to do that all the time, but that happens.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I just unplugged it, never heard from it again, and it is in the trash can. So
Oh,
poor Alexa.
Somebody needs to hunt down whatever factory's in charge of creating Furbies, and apparently Alexas at this point in time. It's true.
Mhm.
well,
Man.
I just want to take a minute and say hi to my sister Brittany. She's watching again this week and or this month rather, since we go live once a month. So hello, Brittany. Hello, Corey. I'm sure you're watching too. And anybody else that I know on my end, since I don't have any people popping up on my end, they just message me that they're watching. So thank anybody that I know that is watching. And I've got some stories. Do we want to go ahead and knock one of them out, or do we want to wait?
Yeah, let's do one of yours. We know that you always have tons of stories. You are our resident
do.
ghost magnet. So let's do one of
Mhm.
yours, and then let's hit. We had a video, right? Is that
We
right,
do.
Gil? You got it. Okay.
do.
All right. Yeah. Let's do one of yours, D.
So, this happened back in August of 2020. Um, my paranormal team had only been going for about 2 months, and we decided to take a what's the word I'm looking for? An unplanned visit to this place up in Kentucky called Octagon Hall. Um, one of the most haunted locations here in the South. Some crazy shit happens at this place. The one time we've been there, we experienced a lot of stuff throughout the entire night. Um, but for this story, we got to fast forward all the way to after we left. Um, we had some stuff going on. It was actually my wife Kelly's very first investigation. Um, and there was a guy who kept kind of joining in with our group, and he was kind of being a dick. He was doing some provoking, which we don't believe in all that stuff. So more or less in there poking and prodding and just pissing everything off. And it eventually started to affect my wife and another team member of ours, both female. It was affected them to the point where their stomachs were hurting. They were pains in between their shoulder blades. Like it was affecting them pretty good.
Mm.
Rushed them outside. The woman who oversaw the place at the time, saged them, blessed them with oil, did all this stuff, and told them we need. She's like, you guys need to go ahead and leave. By this time, it's already like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. She's like, you guys, you need to leave right now. Um, but whatever you do, don't come back because something's going to try to get you to come back.
Ooh.
We're like, oh, whatever. So we punched in our address on the GPS, and we get 5 minutes down the road, and it tells us to make a U-turn. I'm like, no, we know what direction we came from. If we to make a U-turn, we're going to go farther north. We need to go south.
Getting sneaky.
Drove a couple more minutes. Please make a U-turn when you can. Told us 3 or 4 times to make a U-turn, trying to get us to go back in the other direction. Never had anything do that before, GPS wise, because it's always when you actually need to make a U-turn, it's when it makes sense. This didn't make sense because we needed to go south. It was telling us to make a U-turn to go back north.
Mm.
And so, of course, we just kept going. And I'd messaged the woman a couple of days later and told her, and she goes, "See, I told you it was trying to get you to come back here."
Hmm.
And it was very strange. And yeah, that's one of my stories.
Do
So,
you believe that it was that entity?
maybe it was just a coincidence, but for her to sit there and tell us right before we left,
Mm-hmm.
something's going to try to get you to come back. Just keep going. And
Mm.
then our GPS telling us 3 or 4 times to make a U-turn. That's a pretty big coincidence if it was coincidence. Not saying it was paranormal. Like I said, it could have been just a really odd coincidence, but it was just really strange that she told us that, and then our GPS kept trying to get us to turn around and go the other direction.
Don't you think that's the tricky thing with talking about like the ghost in the machine, per
Hmm.
se, but like spirits using electronic devices and gadgets and like your laptop or text, like that's the difficult thing because most people are they can very easily brush it off as okay, that's just an electrical malfunction.
Hmm.
Like, at what
Mm.
point are we waiting for like a feeling or something, just like an impending doom when that happens? Or because I've had tons of stuff. I've had my Waze app like tell me to do crazy things,
Hmm.
not like jump off a
You've had
bridge
your
or
com-
anything, but
Yeah, I did picture the U-turn situation where it's like you're on like a single lane, like narrow road over a valley, and it's like make U-turn now, and you're just like no, now, no.
but like
Right,
maybe.
Interscare.
Mhm.
Oh, I think Interscare was gonna say something. I saw him.
No,
I saw
no,
a
I just
spark pop
he
up in your eyes.
yeah, I did. He reminded me of another story that I have about
Ooh.
crazy electronics and stuff, but I can wait until after this discussion to tell it. But to answer your question, Kristen, in my opinion, I think it would be the circumstances surrounding the
Mhm.
um the incident. Like if your Waze app does random things here and there, like, yeah, that happens. That could be an electrical malfunction and stuff. But I think as humans, we like to discredit coincidence as much as
Mm.
possible.
Yes.
So if there's any spooky scenario happening around all of that stuff, I think that we tend to enjoy, going the paranormal route with it. And a lot of times I think that the situation surrounding it can actually lead to that paranormal route being the case as well.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And on the other hand of that too, we could like because most people are happy to think like coincidental. A lot more people might be having these spiritual experiences and these communications than even know it. They just don't
Hmm.
even think it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Huh.
Is it too early to throw out some crazy thing that was just running through my head through this, or should I wait till later?
I
Well,
say go for it.
I think you have to now.
Yeah, toss it out there.
Well, we talk about the idea of AI coming through everything and AI taking over things eventually in the future. What if AI, because we think about time as linear, AI doesn't know time as linear, so AI can go back into machines in the past and change things so it can mess with us from the future into the past.
That's just the plot to Terminator.
A.
That almost too, with AI not realizing that time is linear, that almost gives it like a godlike place too, because God is outside of time, and if AI is also outside of time, then like AI is a step between like humans and God at that point.
Hmm.
Or it would
Yeah.
believe itself to be.
It would believe
But
itself to
that's
be,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
It
that's
would
true.
believe-
That's very true. That's a very good
Yeah.
point. It has no concept of time. It is just kind of ever present.
Mhm.
Or at
Yeah.
the very
What would
it-
stop it from going back and messing with somebody's Waze app?
Right.
You know,
Oh man, you guys are freaking me
how
out
the
in ways I wasn't
insurrection happens.
expecting.
Kristen O'Connor.
Yeah,
I'm
also,
ready,
like-
man.
Also, I think haunted GPS is my new fear. Thanks, Damien. Thank you so much.
This just
Oh,
We're all
conjures
gonna
that
have to
scene from
revert
The
back to Mac.
Office.
Well, Dwayne says, Kristen, you should know this. Time is spherical. Time is spherical.
Hmm.
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 All right. All right. Let's go.
So if AI doesn't know what time it is, who the hell's controlling the clocks? That's what I want to know.
I thought that was just the mice that run on the wheels inside of
Yeah.
the little.
Everybody
I thought
knows
they
the
were
skill.
robotic. My bad. My bad. I'm sorry. I pictured little robot mice.
Jeez.
If you all will excuse me for a moment, I need to go feed my clock. I'm sorry.
That's why my clock's been ever so slow since I captured the mice and put them outside.
Get the
It's almost
daylight
like
saving
it
time
doesn't
and just
move.
whip it with a little piece of thread. Like one faster, go.
All right.
All right. Well,
Ennis,
you
are you ready?
want to
Yeah.
tell your story? Yeah.
All right. So I've actually got two. One is hilarious and one is like legitimately scary. So I'll tell the funny one first. The first one, Mrs. Interscare wanted me to tell. So she was watching the promo that y'all put out the other day about where Kristen was talking to her Google Home.
Hmm.
Well, she was talking to her Google Home, and me and my wife both have Android phones. So whenever it said, "Hey Google, do whatever you said," it turned on both of our phones, and she didn't know that that was a feature on
Mhm.
our phones. So she was legitimately freaked out when her phone started playing like death metal music and mine started playing a murder podcast.
What a
Oh,
mess.
So that
no.
legitimately freaked her out.
Please
That's
tell
awesome.
me all the lights were off when this happens.
Oh, it was. I was asleep, so this had to be like 3 in the
Yes.
morning when it happened
Nice.
too. So it was great.
That's amazing.
So then the next story is before I ran Interscare Sleep, the YouTube channel, me and Mrs. Interscare actually ran another YouTube channel that I don't really talk about a lot, but that we did a bunch of spooky stuff on. We would go to haunted houses or we would do paranormal investigations, just different things within the horror genre. And we were doing a paranormal investigation in Texas at one point. And we made a whole trip of it. We went to Waco. We went to a few different things, but one point in particular that is relevant to this episode, we went to the Goatman Bridge that is in
Oh,
Texas, in
Mm.
Denton,
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we went there, and this was my first ever time doing anything with any sort of paranormal investigation. I didn't know anything. I was very, young in it. I was very inexperienced. I didn't have any, really good equipment or anything, but we were live streaming the whole thing. Well, for the first really, really long amount of time, we weren't getting any activity whatsoever at all, anything. So me being inexperienced and immature as I was, because it was several years ago, I started doing what Damien was talking about earlier, with that other guy doing, getting a little belligerent and getting a little antagonistic with whatever was surrounding the Goatman Bridge.
Mhm.
Well, once I started doing that, we started to get a lot of activity. We would hear knocks under the bridge. We would, pick up some things on audio recorders that I had or whatever. But one thing that really stuck out was on the live stream, I was videoing underneath the bridge because we was hearing something underneath the bridge. And I look over at Mrs. Interscare and she just has her phone in her hand. I've never seen a phone be a static image before, like static, like you don't have signal on an antenna TV.
Right.
But her phone was just doing that white static, and it was making the white noise, and we freaked out, and we saw it, and it was on the live stream. I wish to God I still had the video of it because I would play it, but it was the craziest thing that I've ever experienced, and still probably the craziest thing that I've ever experienced when it comes to technology like that. And
Wow.
you couldn't use it. I even took her phone on the live stream and I was like trying to go home, trying to like go back, trying to get out of there, showing that it wasn't like a video playing. Like it was freaky.
Huh.
Ooh. So wait,
That's
when you
crazy.
left the location, did it go back to normal?
Yes, it did.
That's
Mm.
insane.
Y'all know. Y'all forgot to feed the phone mice. Something happened.
I'm gonna actually see if I can find that footage while
Oh,
we're
please
talking.
do.
That would be
Please
amazing.
do.
That would
I
be
would
amazing.
love to see that. Oh man, yeah, I've never had anything go static on me. Nothing crazy like
Damon's
that.
just sitting there like rookies.
Mm.
Everything I use is just static.
Oh,
Dang.
Do we want to play the other
Yeah, before we
other
do
listener
that,
submission?
can I throw this out there because we're going to be going to live callers here shortly, I do believe. Get ready to call in. If you want to go to Go Stop Beer, you can still call in through the options that you'll have there on the screen, or just dial the number 208-717-1611. We'll be accepting live callers here in just a little bit. But yeah, if you want to load up that video for us, Gil, I'm excited. I'm not sure what this is in
Awesome.
regards to. I just
Me
heard we
neither.
had a video.
Okay. Things pulled up here. Give me just a moment, please.
I do love it when folks submit things to us in story form and voice message and video. So tell your friends. We love it. We love getting them.
Give me just a moment, y'all.
Sure.
Should have been more prepared.
That's okay. Do you want D to tell one of his gazillions of electronic malfunctions?
I think we should be good. I just had to move some things around.
I can always turn to you, D.
right. I usually got a couple.
Right. All right. Can you all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Can
Fantastic.
they see it on the live? There we go. There it goes. All right.
Hi, guys. My name is Megan. I am a paranormal podcast host and a paranormal investigator with almost 20 years of experience. You can find me at Toasts X Ghosts, pretty much all social medias: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. That's where you can find me. I've got a story for you. So I spent 33 hours at the Conjuring House in 2022. I went with perfectly functioning equipment. Everything seemed to be great. My first night, super smooth. As smooth as you might imagine it to go for being the Conjuring House. I've heard a lot of people have gone to this location and they've had no activity, really no experiences. It's been pretty dead and quiet, but I had the complete opposite experience. Not only was there activity, but I left with about half of the equipment that I started with because nothing worked after this location. 4 of my K2s, my original REM pod, my phone charger, 2 sets of wireless headphones, and one wireless speaker all shit the bed on me. I ended up having to go to Target. I spent about $175 in everything that I could find at Target to use for these investigations, which was a bit of a blow. Kind of hurt a little bit. I'm just interested to know if anybody else has had similar experiences. You know, I went in, everything was fine. And when I left, it just wasn't. My K2s seem to be motion activated now. Like if you turn them on and then you touch them, they do things. And they never did that before. My REM pod makes noises that I've never heard. I'll try to send you a little video. Maybe you can pull that up at some point and see if we can get some answers about that. But I had to replace pretty much every piece of equipment that I had after my second night at the Conjuring House in Rhode Island because nothing functioned properly anymore. So, is this normal? Is this something that you guys have dealt with before? Let's chat about it.
This is the video.
See
So we
that
got-
second video. That second video was her REM pod doing something that's never done before.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And when I watched that, I was like, "Holy shit! Mine's done that before at a location, and then never had done it before, and it's never done it since." And I reset it several times, and it would be quiet for a couple of minutes, and then just start doing that noise. I've had my REM pod for probably 3 years, and it's only made that sound one time at one location. It's never done it before, never done it since.
Hmm.
And so when I heard that, I was like,
Hmm.
"Oh shit!" I was like, "Mine's done that before."
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that is some kind of just super rare malfunction, or if other people's REM pods have done that. But again, another coincidence, maybe. But I was like, "That mine's done that before." But for all of her stuff to malfunction like that, like half of her equipment
Yeah.
at one of the most haunted locations, in America, I thought that was pretty wild when I watched that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's-
I would be interested to know, like take a poll somewhat of if other how many other paranormal investigators have experienced that sound. I've only used a REM pod once, and I don't
Mm.
recall it making something similar to that. But
Right.
like you
Mm.
said, is it a very common thing to hear, or do they just do it every now and then?
And seeing she was telling me, when I was talking to her about it, she said that she thought maybe the batteries were dying or something. So
Mhm.
she's changed the batteries probably 15 different times, and it still does that. She
Hmm.
said she eventually just had to buy a whole new REM pod, because that's what
Wow.
I thought when it was doing that. I was like, man, the batteries must be going dead or something. Let's put some new batteries in there.
Huh.
Same thing. So I don't know if it's just some odd malfunction that happens, or it triggered something to make it do that, because I'd never heard it before and I haven't heard it since.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
What was the situation that you were in? Do you remember it being especially?
No, it was where we were at. Actually, everything that happened was like in a very positive way.
Oh.
Like nothing bad was going on. We had actually been playing um, some music of people that had stayed at this hotel we were at. Um, and this thing just starts going off like that, like while this music's going on and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that music, when I played that music, like it started the night up for us,
Hmm.
uh, and it was really weird. And I think we lost Gil.
I think we did. I think we should probably keep going. I'm sure he's doing some technical wizardry on the other side there.
Mhm.
Right.
But Interscare, did you find the
I did
video you were
not.
looking for? That's all right.
I went through
That's all right.
about 5 or 6 different emails in my Google Drive, and I still wasn't able
Oh,
to find it.
oh, well,
Mm.
you may find it yet.
I
Gil
might
is
one
back.
day.
Welcome back,
Yeah.
Did
sir.
y'all miss me?
Oh,
We
we
did.
did.
Technical
We
malfunction.
did.
Yeah. Did
That's what I thought.
I
Damien?
just wanted
do
to
you,
see if you guys would miss me.
do you have a Target near you, Damien?
Nah, maybe about 45 minutes.
Ah, that's a little far. I feel like it was the Target ghost that stole all of her stuff because she went and spent
Right.
almost $200 at Target for all that
Right.
stuff.
Now, when the location I was at when this happened, I mean,
Yeah.
there may have been one close. I don't know. I was in Paducah, Kentucky, which is a pretty big town. So there may have been one close by. I don't know.
Mm.
Now, how odd would that be if there was,
A Target right next door.
right?
Yeah.
Oh,
All right. Well, we are kind of getting to that place in our
We at the
episodes where
mark?
we can kind of open up the lines. Not kind of. We're going to open up the lines now. If anybody
Yeah,
would
think
like to
about it.
call in,
Mhm.
the number is 208-717-1611. If you would like a couple of steps less than that, you can just go to Ghost Stop Beer and click on the direct link to call in, and we can receive your call that way.
Mhm.
But Wow.
We done got one.
Somebody was
No,
quick.
not yet, not yet.
Not
I'm
yet.
just setting
Okay.
up.
It popped up. I thought it was like
Just
somebody
setting
was
up.
quick.
Well,
Um,
while we're waiting for our first caller, I do have one very quick story. D, I know you got another one here. I'm
Mhm.
assuming he's still setting up until he tells me to shut up.
As you all can see, we don't answer our voicemails. So
Oh, no.
just a heads up.
Are those voicemails?
Got a
Oh.
caller? There it is. Already one.
Well, there was
That-
one.
Gil done hung up on him.
Y'all saw what I did. I didn't do anything.
Gail.
Whoever
I'm
that
getting
was, please
accused
call
over
back.
here. Yeah.
Maybe it was
Wouldn't-
a ghost in the machine.
Mm,
Oh, shit. It
Possibly.
was lucky.
it was a
That's-
ghost call.
Mhm.
It could have been a ghost call.
You look
Ghost
over, Lucky has your phone.
There it
The
is.
ghost
All right.
back.
Try this again. Hello? Can you hear us all right?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
That's good. Hello.
Can we get your first name or nickname and where you're calling in from?
Air Force One, Puyallup, Washington.
Woo, yeah.
Nice.
Mhm.
If you know, you know.
Hey, Dwayne. What you got for us tonight? You always got good stories.
Man, I got a lot, but I'll trim it down to a little. You know how it is. You guys, somebody said the time is linear. Kristen, me and you, I think, had this conversation one time. I want to debate that if I could.
Go forth.
Yep.
Okay. And Kristen, I'm going to use you an example. Kristen, when you walk down the street, say you're going to the store on a mile walk, the squirrel sees you, it reacts to you. The neighbor sees a pretty girl walking down the street, reacts to that. You see the squirrel, you see the neighbor out on his porch, you see the kid throwing the newspaper, yada, yada, yada. You look up, you see the airplane, the people, or the helicopter. The helicopter, we know people in helicopters don't look up, they look down. They see you. So is that not spherical? You have now altered every bit of time around you, and everything that you affected, its timeline was also altered. That is a spherical thing. It's not a linear thing. We only perceive it that way. Or am I completely wrong on this?
No, I think I do understand. It would take it would. So does time only exist because it takes two parties to affect it and create that circular motion? Otherwise, does time not exist?
If it was linear, everything to the left, right, behind, and above you
Hmm.
would not be altered. But you altered it. And then let me go with, I think we talked about this too. Do any of you believe in time machines?
Ooh.
We can go forward in time, but the laws of physics do not allow us to go backward in time. The
I agree
laws of
with that.
physics actually
Mhm.
prove that if you travel at enough speed for a long enough amount of time, you can go forward in time, and it feels like you haven't spent that much time, going forward. But going backwards in time is a theoretical impossibility due to paradoxes and things.
You are
From how we
absolutely correct, sir.
understand
But the
Unless you're a
question was,
tachyon.
do you believe that time machines exist right now, here and now?
I believe that if they ever exist, they exist right now.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we did.
Well,
Scientists
you are
did
correct.
actually create. Scientists did actually create a warp bubble already. That exists at a time and space. They just created it accidentally. So the idea behind time machines is we don't have a way to travel yet that we've created that we know of. But the
Oh, yes, we
idea
do.
behind it exists.
Why do you
Let
say
me
that,
prove
Dwayne?
it to you. Oh, well, here we go. Okay, so we have to base everything on our feet. That is our control, correct? That's the time it takes us to go anywhere on the planet, is what we have to do with our feet. That's the fast, whether we run, jog, whatever. That's our control. So now we have invented things that you can climb into. Let's just say you have to go to work and it's 10 miles away. It's an hour and a half walk. We have created things that you can get into, turn a key, push buttons, turn the wheel, and get us there in 10 minutes. Is that not a time machine? You have now altered time. Going back to if you were walking down the street, everything that you would affect on your way there, everything that sees you, you have altered time all the way there. If you get in your car, turn the buttons, control all the switches, and get to work in a tenth of the time that it would take you to walk, you have now altered time. You've gone forward in time. Am I wrong?
He's not wrong. If we think back to what Interscare was just saying, like they've proven that if you can move fast enough, you can go forward in time. He is not wrong.
That's true.
It's very minuscule, but you're right, Dwayne.
Yeah, I mean, it's a stretch, but it is a time machine, whether it be a
I
car,
will.
a plane, a train. Again, we have to base it on our feet. A horse and a bicycle doesn't count because you are still using your power to move that thing forward. But something that you control outside of your own power, that is a time machine. A car is a time machine. I fix these things all day. They're time machines. They get you to where you need to be faster than you could in the real world. I know it's a stretch, but
It's a save
just
time
prove it.
machine.
Yeah, that's
It's a
a great
save
way to
time
say
machine.
it. It's a
No.
save time machine.
It's a time machine. It puts you farther
same
into
time
time
machine.
than you could on your own. Anyway, just having
Hmm.
fun with you guys, man. Just wanted your opinion, man.
Appreciate
But you
it,
guys,
Dwayne.
hey, you know what? I love the show. You guys rock. Kristen, I wasn't going to call in, but you guys are killing me over here, so I had to, man. Anyway, love this show. Can't wait till the next one, man.
Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you, Dwayne.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you bet. You guys are awesome.
Have a good one.
Peace.
Have a
Talk
good
to you
night.
later.
What
Yeah,
actually Interscare hasn't announced yet is he has created his Interscare time
Interscare
machine.
time travel.
Yes.
Yes.
That way,
um,
if you don't want to go to sleep, you can travel forward to tomorrow.
you don't have to.
I love that. Yeah,
A new
he's
energy drink is a time machine.
Right.
Hmm?
can certainly
Could you
affect
imagine a
perception
haunted
of
time machine?
Oh my god.
That would be wild.
Oh.
What would it
Speaking
do?
of
Just
haunted
send you to random
electronics.
spices? Would it send you to random
It
places
would
that
only
you don't
send
know?
you to the worst points in human history.
Mm.
Like,
You just turn
Oh.
your head and you're like, oh, hey, JFK. Oh, God.
setting on the
Oh.
grassy knoll.
Oh man.
Wow, is this a bolt action rifle? Oh, shit.
Well, while we're waiting on another call, since Dwayne said he couldn't wait till the next episode, let's go ahead and announce episode 4.
Sure. Yeah. This is you, bud.
Episode 4 is going to be May 4th, same time, same place. We like to have fun on this show and cut up and be goofy and silly and tell spooky stories, but this one, episode 4, is going to be a little sentimental. It's probably going to be a little emotional for some people that I know I'll get emotional telling some of my stuff. I'm sure some of the callers probably will. And if any of you guys, have anything to talk about, I'm sure you may choke up a little bit. This one's going to be called Last Visit. This one's going to be about having any kind of interaction with a loved one or even a loved pet that has passed on that you've received some kind of interaction with, be it, via like a dream or something, or you've sat there talking out loud and said, just give me some kind of sign and something's happened. Just any kind of interaction you've had that you believe to be that loved one. We want to hear about that. I think it'll make for a really good episode because, like I said, we've all lost somebody really close to us at some point in
Mhm.
time. And I'm sure a lot of people's had some kind of interaction that they believe was that loved one. So I just want to hear about that. I want to chat about that and just kind of I think it'll be good because some people may just hold this stuff in, you know, and I think it'll be good for people that may hold it in to kind of get it out there and just kind of talk about it.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like like you said, like everybody's got somebody that they've lost. I know a lot of people have had these kinds of experiences where they're communicating with somebody on the other side, whether recently passed away or a long time ago. I know I have had some experiences that myself. And yeah, so it's I think it's gonna be a really good episode.
Mhm.
Kind of one of those that kind of everybody can meet on the level on that kind of experience. So
Right.
yes, that is our next episode. So May 4th, 4:30 p.m. Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. I always leave 6:30 out, but just it's a given. I'm not trying to leave you out, Dayman.
Right.
But yeah, join us for Last Visit. I can't remember what the full episode title is, but it's Last Visit. It's afterlife communication with our passed on loved ones, including
Mhm.
fur babies.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
May the
Um,
last visit be with you.
I'm really looking forward to it.
I think it's going to be good.
All
So,
right. All right. So, for anybody in our chats, if you've got a spooky AI or haunted electronic story you would like to share with us live, we would love to hear it. Just go to Go Stop Beer and click the call in option or dial 208 717 1611. We are awaiting your call. And while we are awaiting our next caller, shall I tell my story real quick? Because it's a real short one.
go for it.
All right. So I believe I mentioned this on this show. I have talked about it a little bit on my main program, but I lost a close family member about a year ago, a little bit more than a year ago. And in that year's time, um, he's done things that I think could be considered communication. I mean, to me, it's pretty obvious that it's from him, and he's done this particular thing that I think is like a specific sign to me, where I will go to get in my car and go to like just start driving, and the lights are turned off. And I always keep my lights on automatic. This has happened 3 times, and in order to turn the lights all the way off, you have to turn a big knob like that to turn them all the way off. So this had just happened. It was prior to this last Thanksgiving, and I now write down everything that happens, just any little weird thing. I kind of journal it and write it down because I don't want to forget the details of what happened. So I was sitting here in my studio and I was writing this event down just as it unfolded, and I was typing it out on my laptop. And I don't want to share the details here just yet. But I was getting like halfway through the story, and all of a sudden my phone was sitting right here, right next to my laptop, and I received a message. I don't even remember who it was from. It was just a quick like blink, and I could see the notification. And then I looked over and I went to look back at my computer and start typing again and just finish the story. And there was a line of text that was on the screen that I hadn't written. And it's a little scary. And this is what it said. I saved it, by the way. That is why I have it. Um, So it starts out me writing and then whatever it is picked up. The reason the light's being turned off is I need help. I'm in danger. Send authorities to my address, not a drill. That is,
Wow.
yeah.
Did it give
I
you the address?
nope. No address, no help, no nothing,
Oh,
no like
I got
who's
chills.
this?
That's creepy.
it's pretty
Ugh.
wild.
And I will swear on everything. That's exactly how it happened. It's a mystery. I I I don't know what that is. I don't know how that happened. I've never had anything like that happen. And it was in the span of, I mean, the words had to have just appeared because it was in the span of
Mm.
looking down and looking back up.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. So haunted laptop. I don't know.
Too bad it didn't give an address.
I know. Who is it? They're still waiting for me to come help.
Right.
Did the laptop require batteries?
There we go.
Got another caller coming in here. Hello, you are on the air. Can we get a name and where you're calling from?
It's Risk It for the Biscuit, and I'm calling from Toledo, Ohio.
The Notorious.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Gil sister.
Hello.
Hello.
You guys doing good tonight? Podcast is awesome so far. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. We're doing good.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah. So I have a quick story really quick. If you guys remember from the last podcast, I called in about that haunted room upstairs.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes along with that room up there. My husband's son had or has a stereo up there, like an old boom box.
Mhm.
It does take batteries, but it does not have batteries in it. And this radio would randomly turn on and off. And I did go upstairs after turning it off a couple of times and unplug it, and it came back on again.
So okay.
So I
this-
was kind of like, what was that? I'm sorry.
Oh no. I was just. It sounded familiar to another story that we heard about an unplugged device. Go, please continue.
Yes, and that's why I forgot all about it until I heard that story about the unplugged device, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot about the stereo up there. So we took and we moved it into my son's room. There's 2 bedrooms and the bathroom upstairs, as I said before, and he had it plugged in, and he was listening to music here and there. Turned it off, and randomly in the middle of the night it would turn on. And he'd turn it off, it turned back on. A couple nights later, he unplugged it, and he's like, I'm good. He put it back in that spare bedroom. And every once in a while, it still pops on, and it is not plugged in, so it's creepy. And I don't know if it's the ghost up there just playing pranks, or if it's just a malfunction of some sort where, it can't be because it's not plugged in and there's no batteries in it. So it has to be some kind of entity manipulating the stereo itself, saying, hey, I'm here. And it's just the radio that comes on. It's not, unfortunately, like somebody speaking through it or an entity or, a soul of some sort or spirit. But it's still pretty creepy.
And this is the room
did
you
you throw
put
it
Gil
away?
in?
Yeah.
This is the one that I go in and sleep like a baby in.
Well, Gil,
And as
if you-
I said before, it's not a bad. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, Gil, if you remember how you talked about in a previous episode how you fall asleep to paranormal podcasts, I'm pretty sure that maybe the radio turned on paranormal podcasts all night so you could sleep and not have bad nightmares.
Who are we speaking? Was that on our show? Who was that? Where?
I feel like that's
We
just
talked
known
about
to
this
everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, no, just sister, I think this works with your room. I think this is why I sleep so well in your notoriously haunted guest room in your house. Because every single time, like, it's been fine for years falling asleep. I always fall asleep with like one earbud in. I'd be very easy to murder in my sleep, everybody. So I always fall asleep with one earbud in, and like listening to Art Bell, Coast to Coast, Dreamland, what have you. Always, a bunch of paranormal shit, spooky shit, yada yada. And for about a week, for whatever reason, I just was sleeping without listening to anything. I had not had nightmares in years. The one week that I'm not listening to the shit that should give me nightmares, I have the most fucked up, insane nightmares possible. So, something tells me, there's probably, and that's honestly, Joey, I think you're onto something. The reason why I'm sleeping so well is because there is a bunch of crazy shit going on, and I'm just sleeping like a baby through it.
To be fair, we did grow up right by the airport. The planes were 50 feet or so. What would you say, Gil? 50 feet in the air from the house?
They were low. They were very low. Yeah, we were exactly 1 mile from the beginning of the landing strip for the airport and the 101st Airborne stationed out of Toledo, Ohio.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. So always had just jets and shit going over. Apparently, those jets were haunted. Somebody checked their batteries. Something was going on with them. But I think it's big coal that's preventing us from learning the truth about paranormal shit. Because if we all actually were able to harness the power of all this paranormal stuff, keeping all of our electronics going, boom, power companies out of business overnight.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Nikola Tesla's
Mhm.
like, I'm here, just so you know.
I told you.
That's literally
It's
who's
in the air,
haunting our
assholes. I was
machines.
trying to explain this.
Tesla's haunting all of our machines.
I got you, boo.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Well, thank you.
All right.
Thanks for having me on
Alright.
again. I appreciate it.
Of
Of course. Thanks for always
anytime.
calling in.
Thank you,
Thanks for calling in.
Risket.
Oh, heck
Thank
yeah.
you.
You risk it.
All right. See you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
See you.
Bye bye.
Inniscare, I had a question for you too before we hop into something. Do you also fall asleep to paranormal podcasts or anything?
I do. I fall asleep to not my channel because that would be a little narcissistic, I think.
I was about
But
to ask you,
I
but-
fall asleep to other people who do this similar stuff as
Mm.
me. You know, people
Nice.
like Let's Read, Being Scared, Mortis Media, Back to Ashes.
Mhm.
You know, I got a bunch of friends in the niche and I listen to their channels.
Mm.
Nice.
Do you have bad dreams?
I don't, unless I take melatonin. When I take melatonin, I have the most crazy, off the wall, in detail nightmares that I've ever had in my life.
Hmm.
Except
Melatonin is just LSD for folks that are over 30.
the only time that I've ever taken melatonin and not had nightmares is with a company that I recently did a sponsorship segment for, OptiRenew. They have like a bunch of different vitamins mixed with their melatonin. So like it
Mhm.
didn't give me nightmares, but if I just take pure melatonin, yeah, I'm waking up 5 or 6 times in the middle of the night screaming.
Oh.
Oh my god.
What a plug right there. What a plug.
Yeah,
If you don't
so
want to
if you
wake up
don't
5
do
to 6
this,
times a
you'll-
night cleaning, screaming. Love
And
it.
honestly,
OptiRenew.
Yeah.
Scare with your
Right.
voice, you can give plugs all night. We will all be happy.
Well, it wasn't really a plug. It was
buttery
just more
smooth.
of a it was more of a like I
Yeah.
had dealings with this one company that actually helped me.
Oh, yeah.
That's legit.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
legit.
My
So, I
sister
wanted to.
my sister just commented, OMG, melatonin gives me the worst nightmares.
Mhm. It's
It-
the
it-
worst.
I don't know what it
Yeah.
is. I don't know if it's like ADHD mixed with melatonin or what it is, but it is scary.
Oh,
Mhm.
Hmm.
I've actually scared Mrs. Interscare multiple times. Like
oh,
her thinking that I'm having a legit like panic attack or something in the middle of the night because I just wake up literally screaming.
Oh man.
jeez.
Dang.
It is hilarious.
That is what little Inner Scare is doing right now, or was
Right.
doing a little earlier.
It's a family tradition.
The family tradition.
But Kristen, to answer your question from earlier, the rest of the title we had come up with was called Last Visit, Loved Ones Who Come Back for One More Goodbye.
There you go.
Mm.
There you go. Now it's
And
now it's
and I
complete.
wanted to say one more thing, Kristen. Your story reminded me of something that happened to me quite a few years ago. I just randomly got this text from my mom one day. It said, please send help. I'm at longitude, and it gave a bunch of numbers, and latitude a bunch of numbers. Please send help. And I text back to my, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? She goes, please send help. I'm like, Mom, what's going on? And she finally comes back. She goes, I don't know what happened. She goes, my phone just sent that randomly. And I'm
Mhm.
like, well, that was weird. And I, get on Google and I punched in those coordinates, and it's like out in the middle of the ocean, like no land or anything around. It was really strange.
What?
Yeah. So I don't
Huh.
know if that was just something if her phone malfunctioned and did that or what, but it was really weird. And I remember screenshotting it and posted on Facebook when it happened, saying my mom's phone was haunted.
I'm
Dang.
gonna guess it was an Apple device.
Pretty sure it was an Android.
Ooh.
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah.
in that case, it was haunted. It wasn't a
Oh yeah.
All right,
So
folks.
I would like to,
uh-huh.
if it's cool, wanted to expand out the topic here too. And so tell us what your fears are about AI. right? So we're coming up on, have we even reached the 1 year mark since like what we're referring to as AI has been like kind of unleashed publicly into society? We're about at the 1 year mark, I think.
Yeah.
Well, ChatGPT in some form or another, I think it's been around for about 2, hasn't it? Kind of, sort of. Or am I just
2 years, a
way
year.
off?
The shit's
How would
just
we
kind
know?
of hitting everything.
Chat
You know, like
GPT
like
yeah.
3.5, which was the one that really took off, was
Mhm.
released
Mhm.
on May 15th of 2023.
Oh, okay.
The
Okay.
company
Mm.
OpenAI and like ChatGPT 1 and 2 were probably around way before then. But the one that really took off was 3.5, and that was
Mhm.
released May 15th of 2023.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we're a little less, or a little bit more than a month away from 1 year.
Mm.
Since, you know, basically our generation responded to AI like hipsters with bacon did in the mid 2000s, you know, just putting it into fucking everything out there,
Yeah.
right? So, you know, I'm going to throw it out there, you guys. We are in the ramp up / we are in an election season.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said it before, there are no laws or legislation that have been passed that have any teeth whatsoever
hmm
when it comes to regulating the influence of artificial intelligence, right? Or what we call artificial intelligence, and politics. And, you know, if there has been anything passed, it's been domestic. Boogie, woogie, woogie. You know, there hasn't been any. I don't know. It's electric, anyways. But
Oh.
there hasn't been anything passed internationally in terms of influence. I went there. I tried. Fell. Crashed on my face. But but there hasn't been anything passed. So when we talk about haunted electronics and scary AI, I don't think it's much of a stretch to say, what is AI going to do? What are our nightmares when it comes to AI, right?
Mhm.
Ugh.
If y'all have any theories, if y'all have any fears, if y'all have any concerns, actually,
I'm a
fuck
oh,
that.
you
If
go
y'all
ahead.
have anything positive to say about where AI is going, I would actually be very interested in hearing
Yeah.
that because I
Yeah.
haven't heard enough about that, to be honest. But
And
call
let's
in.
let's throw that out to the listeners. Anybody who's just got some thoughts you want to flesh out about fears about AI, hopes about AI, any
I
haunted
hope it
Alexa
add,
stories? I'm still down for that, but
I hope it
yeah,
adds money to my checking account.
I'm afraid
just
that it's going to take
randomly.
money away from
Right.
mine
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because my full-time job is here on YouTube reading these stories,
Mm.
and I have hours and hours and hours uploaded of my voice on YouTube. What's
Mhm.
to say that someone's not going to take those audio clips, throw them into an AI voice generator, and steal my voice to basically automate what I do?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's a
Yeah. I
valid
will
I
fear.
say,
mean, that's
Yeah.
what I've been working on.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah,
I-
no, that is
I will say there was a huge fight between SAG and Universal and all the big
Mhm.
people to kind of stop that because extras were going to be scanned eventually,
Mhm.
and they can just be
Mm.
sign off. They get paid
Wow.
once, and then they get used in any feature film forever. And so I feel like that has started with the cinematic, television and stuff like that, and eventually we'll start going, if podcasters, I don't know if there's a union for podcasters or anything. Maybe they're part
There
of
is
SAG.
now.
I don't know.
Announcing this
We're
episode,
starting
we are
it.
starting a podcast union.
I know that for
Uh,
voice actors and things of that
Mm.
nature, even like audiobook readers and kind of the same thing I do, SAG-AFTRA is open to people like me and what I do, but that doesn't
Mhm.
alleviate my fears of some random person, just
Truth.
doing it
Mhm.
themselves.
Mhm.
Truth.
Yeah.
And I have heard like it's getting pretty seamless,
hmm
and no chinks in the armor, like perfection. I personally have heard shows done with certain AI programs to mimic their voice, do the show in their style, and it sounds, I would have never known. I
hmm
wouldn't. They just wanted to try
Mm.
it just to see, and I would have never known if they hadn't told me.
Mm.
I haven't
It's a
done a
little,
live episode in over a year.
It's just me joking to Gil, to Gil's AI.
No, but Kristen,
that's
you were
sad.
100% right on that. And it is very common to a lot of celebrities are selling off the AI usage of them postmortem, right? So like after they die, they are selling off rights. I don't know if anybody else has heard this. Tells you how much I listen to commercials, but has anybody else come across the commercial recently for some car or something? But DMX is the one doing the whole commercial. Am I the only one getting this ad every 10 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a
I pay for
Nissan
YouTube
commercial or
Premium,
something.
so I don't.
It's got to be like an old commercial because he's been
Wow.
dead for like
Okay.
a year.
But yeah, DMX has been dead for a hot minute.
Right.
He's doing him right. He is doing a commercial right now. It's him reading
Well, that's
through like,
well,
and
that's
then
like
this is blah blah blah, and the shit was not pre-recorded.
Hmm.
well, that's like what was it? A few years ago, Snoop Dogg was doing a concert and he had a hologram of Tupac standing there
Mhm.
singing a song with him,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and it looked
which
just
I
like
think
fucking
was
Tupac.
Tupac.
It could have been,
That's crazy.
but
My
yeah,
my
it's
fear
wild how stuff like that can be done.
Yeah.
it echoes the same thing as you guys. That I saw a meme recently, and it was hit the nail right on the head. Was I thought AI was gonna do my dishes and cook and clean for me, but
Right.
now it's writing stories, it's writing songs, it's doing all the stuff that creatives want to do instead of do manual labor, cooking and cleaning. So it's like doing the opposite of what everybody wants it or wanted it to do. And now the people that are doing creative stuff are getting kind of shoved to the corner of it feels in a general sense like that's what's starting to happen.
I am hopeful too at the same time though with certain AIs. I mean things like Chat GPT, things of that nature. They're very, very helpful with a lot of
Mm.
mundane menial tasks every day,
Mhm.
Um, you can use it to like if you don't want to pay for a lawyer, for just some small little tiny thing that you have between like you and someone else, like I'm gonna buy this from your. It can write out like documents, or it can
Mhm.
do things of that nature. I've used Chat GPT a lot for a lot of things, to help me out with, writing scripts, for things like sponsorship segments or whatever. Um, so it is really helpful, and I do see it going in a positive direction in certain places. Even self-driving cars, I drive a Tesla right now, and it has the auto drive capability on it, and it uses AI to determine where to make the turns, where to stay distance from cars, when to do different things. So
Mhm.
I am very hopeful in certain aspects, but I do hope that there's something that protects the layman, from getting their jobs taken. Like I wouldn't
Yeah.
want self-driving trucks because that's the number one job for high school educated young men in America is being a
Mhm.
truck driver. If I was
Yeah.
in power, and I don't get political on this channel at all, but I do want to say if I was in power, in a second, I would say there are going to be no self-driving semi trucks on the roads because that would collapse our economy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
True.
Also, it'd be incredibly horrifying.
Right.
Well, we're still in the early ages here of AI, relatively, and we're still kind of trying to figure out
Mhm.
what is going to fit, what's not going to fit. Is it good for us long term? Are there any aspects of it good for us long term? I mean, I'm hearing some things here in my chat that are making some good points. Like, if you have to use AI for certain things, are you really good at what you do? Like, should you be using AI for those things? Still trying to figure out things like if you put anything on the internet, like, we're podcasters, we do
Mhm.
radio, like we put anything out there, anything at all, immediately it's got access to it and it can use it and steal it. So there's some things to work out. I personally do believe there's value in AI in some aspect.
Mhm.
I'm just not sure where we're heading yet. So yeah, I guess I do fall in the fear camp here. I'm cautiously optimistic about the whole thing, and I'm just curious to see where it goes.
Do you
I
want to
wish
make
it
a
was around
quick
when I
note
was in
here?
high
There
school so I
was
could do my
a
homework.
Were you
I
not
do
good at your homework, Damien?
Not all the time, depending on the subject.
do want to make a quick point here though. Well, we did get a missed call that came in at one point. If you could give
Oh,
us a call back, that would
I
be
never,
absolutely
didn't even hear
I
you.
fantastic.
never
Because
heard
Yeah,
it.
if look, if
I
anybody
think
wants
our
to
folks I think folks may have just been a little bit too don't be respectable. Like don't be like patient with us. You have to
call
call in,
in,
interrupt
call
us. We'll
in.
just keep blabbering for
Hmm.
years even.
Mhm.
Just call in, interrupt. Second you call,
Cut us
we'll
off.
shut the heck up. It is all you. So I did want to stop everybody because I did notice a missed call come in there.
Okay, okay.
And again, that phone number is 208 717 1611. That's 208 717 1611. It's totally toll
Yes,
free. What do you got to
we
lose except
we
for a
are
few minutes of your life? You weren't doing shit anyways. Give us a call.
we are talking spooky AI and haunted
Spooky AI.
electronics.
Mhm.
Got some good stories going tonight.
Well,
Damien, why don't you give us a breather? Give us one of yours.
okay. The only other one that I can think of happened during an investigation January of last year. We were at a old jail up in Franklin, Kentucky, which is actually right down the road from Octagon Hall, less than like 5 miles. Which coincidence? I don't know. So we're doing what we call the Estes method, and for those that may not know what the Estes method is, whoever's doing it, they have some noise canceling headphones on. They're normally blindfolded, and they're normally either tapped into a spirit box or we have an app on our phone called Necrophonic that we like to use, and it basically just scans radio frequencies at a high rate of speed, and they say that the spirits can manipulate the frequencies and stuff and just and communicate through the white noise. Um, so after we had wrapped this session, actually during the session, um, one of my best friend Josh was actually the one that was under. We had him in a jail cell. We had the door closed. Pretty sure we had handcuffs on him. I don't remember. We're standing right outside the cell and we're asking all these questions, and we just hear this random song play. This song just comes out of nowhere, and it played enough of this song. It didn't play enough of the song that if it was somebody's phone, it would have played longer because they would have had to get out of their pocket, unlock their phone, turn it off. It would have played for probably about 10 or 15 seconds. This was probably a 2 second part of a song. And we all react to it, and you're like, what the hell was that? So at the end, after we after the session, we're telling Josh about the song that just came out of nowhere. I have the spirit box in my hand. Uh, it's completely turned off. It starts making the staticky sound like it's going through the radio frequencies. I'm like, what the hell? And I'm looking at it. There's no power to it. All the lights are off. There's no numbers on the screen. Like it's completely turned off. I'm pounding on the power button, trying to turn it off, trying to turn it on, trying to get it to stop doing whatever it's doing. We eventually have to take the batteries out of it for it to stop doing this, and it's never done that before and hasn't done it since. And we got all that on video. If I would have thought about it, I would have sent over the clip for Gil to load up. But it's on our TikTok, on RKB Paranormal's TikTok, if anybody wants to check that out. And the music clip is uploaded on there too. Um, so that was really strange. Like I said, it's never happened before and it hasn't happened since. Um, but we have started using Necrophonic a lot more since then. Because we seem to get better responses with that. But it was just really weird that in the video you can, because on the spirit box when it's turned on, the screen's lit up like a light orange, and you can see it. There's numbers on the little screen and everything. Like like it's not turned on whatsoever. and like you see me in the video hitting the like holding the power button down and pounding the power button like it won't stop making this noise until my wife finally decides, okay, let's take the batteries out of it to get it to stop, and it actually stops. But it was just started playing just randomly like that. I'm sitting there holding it in my hand, just like this, and my hand's like nowhere near the power button. It was pretty rad and pretty strange at the same time.
Brittany Turner over in my chat says that noise means that they're fully grabbing it and holding on to it.
Oh.
Mm.
Ooh.
I don't know. Maybe it does. I don't. It was pretty rad. It was pretty rad though for it to happen.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's
Fine.
scary.
Whew. All right, guys. Hey, listeners, call in. We want to hear your stories too. 208-717-1611 or go to Go Stop Beer and click the option to call in. We'd love to get another call or two before we wrap it up here.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to hear a Teddy Ruxpin story. Now
That
that I
would
got
be
my
so awesome.
Furby, I got my Furby fix. I need Teddy Ruxpin.
What is a Teddy
Absolutely.
Ruxpin? I've been wondering what that is.
You don't know what it. I forgot,
Oh.
Kristen. Me and you are a little bit older than Gil and Joey, so
Did you have to just bring me into that? Thank you.
hey, we're the same age
All right. I'm older.
by like a month. It's
Yeah.
okay.
I
That's
think
true.
we decided
Um,
that I was the oldest.
This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
getting
okay,
scary for
Joey.
the wrong
Okay.
That,
reasons.
that works. So basically, Joey, a Teddy Ruxpin was a teddy bear that came out, and it was animatronic, and you put a tape inside of it, like a actual
Cassette
tape,
tape. Like,
cassette
oh.
tape,
Ooh.
and it would talk.
Got a call coming in, y'all.
And there's been so
You're gonna
many
have to
stories
wait,
of this
Joey.
thing talking without the batteries in it. Sorry, caller, go ahead.
Hey,
Can we get your
sorry,
first?
guys. Yeah, this is the first time I've heard you guys, so this is kind of interesting for
Hell yeah.
me. Hey, I have a story or two from Central Texas.
Ooh.
Awesome.
My house is 100 years old, and the lady that lived there was both born in and died in that house.
Oh wow.
And I didn't know this. I didn't know this until last year, and I've been living there for maybe 14 years or so. But
Oh.
I knew there was something there because there's all kinds of weird stuff that happens. But I'll tell you two stories in particular since we're talking about electronics tonight. One night I was up sewing. I make product for shows that we do here in Texas.
Mhm.
And I was up late, and I was up at like midnight. I said, okay, I'm going to go to bed here in a little bit. No. Look at the clock again. It's like 1:30 in the morning. I'm like, okay, just a few more pieces and I'm going to go to bed. At 2 a.m., I looked at the clock and I was like, I really should go to bed. And my overhead light, which is a ceiling fan, shut off and on and off and paused a minute and then on. That's what I said. I said, yeah, you know, you're right. I'm going to bed.
Right?
Nah, I'm sleeping outside.
She
I'm
was
sleeping outside. That
she
shit
was
happened.
telling you. She was telling you, go to bed. It's time.
Right.
It is way past your
Well,
bedtime.
She had 3 children, so you know it makes sense. And then the other thing is, I have a thing. I love Halloween decorations, and I have quite a few of the little animatronic ones. And one in particular it's a skull, and it says different phrases, and its eyes light up. Now, most of my things, if I don't have them operational for like people coming over and stuff, I do to remove the batteries or turn them off.
Right.
And one night again, I was up late, and I walked by this particular skull, and it lit up, and it said, "I see you," which is one of its
Ugh.
phrases.
Ugh.
And I went,
Wait, could you
I'm
repeat
pretty
that?
sure I turned that off. And I flipped it
What was it?
over and looked at it. It was a skull. I flipped it over and looked at it, and it was off. Okay. But I did not have the nerve to check and see if I had batteries in there that night.
Oh.
Yeah, no, thank you.
I was like, you know what?
Oh.
Not that brave tonight. But
Right.
those
Do
are my
you-
two stories.
Do you think anything spurred this? Was this last one completely random? Right, like was this just a paranormal hit and run
It was
kind of a
pretty
situation?
random.
Like what? Like, what happened?
I don't know. If it was on, it would have triggered many times when I walked by, but it just this one night I walked by it and it just went off.
Wow.
And it
Has,
was
has
off.
this
It was
been
in the off position.
has this been something that's happened since?
No, I took the
Or
batteries
with
out of it.
Mm.
It did have batteries. I was gonna
I like the
battery,
way you
had
think.
batteries
I like
in
the
it.
way you think. Damn.
That's
I ain't mad.
scary.
It's her house, you know.
That is
Wow.
horrifying. Can we?
Oh, she
I
lets
do
me
want to
know
follow
she's
up
there
here.
sometimes.
What's
Huh?
that?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you said.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
I couldn't hear you. Somebody asked me something and I couldn't hear what they said.
Gil, you were saying
think-
something. You want to follow up with what?
Yeah, I want to follow up with your thoughts about where AI is going. What are your fears, thoughts,
AI?
concerns, dreams, hopes?
Well, I am an artist, and so for me, looking at what people do on AI, it really, to me, it's the art aspect of it is more of a compiler because it's not thinking about what it's doing. You know, it's simply compiling. You know, if you say you want a picture of a duck, a green duck, it's going to go out there and find a green duck. It doesn't think about what it means or anything, which is why it looks, you know, you get that uncanny valley stuff going on with it. As far as for y'all, I've heard some of the, you know, some of the I don't know what you call it, voice duplicating or whatever. And to me, that is kind of, again, it lacks, you know, it's just going to say whatever is typed in. It lacks a lot of the soul.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want AI to do my dishes. I don't want AI doing my artwork. I want AI.
We're on
to do
the
the
same
dishes.
page.
Yeah, I
We're
want
on the same page
Codsworth
there.
from
If,
Fallout.
if
That's what I
AI,
want.
if AI is, you know,
And
soulless,
I think that
then
that's
let's have the dishes.
first off, your point about it being a compiler, fantastic. Like I said, I think
Mhm.
I saw all the hosts were just like, yes. We're all just like, fuck yes, like that hit the nail on the head. It is a compiler.
Well,
And so like in
to
terms
be fair,
of, and I don't know if you would agree, but in terms of like writing, for instance, like actual composition, right? It's not doing anything but regurgitating what's already been done. And you know, our
yes,
best authors, our best poets, right, the best writers in the world, they're not defined because they sound like everyone else, right?
Mhm.
Like
yes,
that's not how you become a great author, is by perfectly imitating every other person doing it, you know?
yeah. I mean, I get asked quite often, you know, well, how do you, you know, how do you draw what you draw? And it looks, you know, not necessarily realistic, but it just has this great feel to it. The nature drawings are, you know, they look like real animals. And I said, well, nature isn't perfect. It's actually the imperfections of nature that allow you to look at something and see that it's alive. And so, yeah, I think, I don't know. I don't know what's going to go on with the AI stuff. Like, right now, it's not, these things aren't thinking. You know, it's just simply putting things together, compiling. And until I see one think, but I'm going to, I'll reiterate an old phrase from a very long time ago with computer people, and it's garbage in, garbage out.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad worked for IBM and RCA way back in the day, and he knew a lot of the people who did the programming, and that phrase is just as important today as it was then. The garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah.
True.
Right.
Absolutely.
Can we say the one thing then, that AI in quotations, because technically if it's not really thinking, is it really AI? If it's just conglomerating everything together, then it's not really AI. It's just a program that spreads out, finds everything, and puts it together.
Well, if it's artificially thinking. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, it's a catchphrase, you know. It's they've got a product they're trying to market and they're doing it. You know,
Mhm.
they've got everybody scared of it and stuff. And from what I see, it's not it's not there yet. You know, when you can sit down and ask philosophical questions to it, and you get some kind of unique response, then I think you'd be able to look at it a little better.
Yeah.
Like if you ask
That's
it
my
what's the
thoughts
meaning of
on it
life,
anyway.
and it says 42.
Right?
I like it.
I would be like,
I
yeah.
will say too, you know, we have to ask the question, or at least I have to ask the question, right? Yeah, is this AI or is this us speaking to the internet? Right?
Yeah.
And there's a difference.
Mhm.
Are we just communicating with the internet for the first time instead of us just asking questions and manually going through and processing and collecting the information, mining the information, refining it into something that's usable for us? The internet has become an actual tangible resource,
Mhm.
right? With nuggets of information based off the tasks that we have at hand, like value hidden that we have to mine and refine and turn into the results that we want, just as we would go look for ore, right, in the ground.
Yeah.
The internet's become that for knowledge, right? And you know, just as there's fool's gold, there's false information,
Mhm.
right? And just as there's real gold, there's real information. And just as things like copper appear next to actual gold when you're mining, right? We have these different forms of connections and points of legitimacy that exist within the content and the information that's out on the internet. So is AI a more efficient process of a mining? Is it us hiring miners to go out there and to
I would
refine it for us? Like, how far? I don't know how far we can take the metaphor, but I feel like we're actually getting to a point where we're communicating with the internet. We're not just saying, "Hey Siri" or "Hey Google," which, by the way, Google, subscribe us to the Black Cat Report. Anyways, I've always wanted to say that. Sorry, but
That is a good
just
point.
cracking up. But no, I mean, instead of us asking a direct question and trying to hunt down a direct answer, which is what voice search was, now we're actually saying. So, for instance, for me, like with my day job, I'll say something like, create a bookmarklet that does yada 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 on top of a page, and I can just click it. Boom. Here's all my information I need for a single web page for my day job. Right? It's mining that information, refining it for me, and
Yeah.
giving me a result.
It is useful for some composition stuff, I've noticed. Like if I'm wondering, you know, what is this or that going to look like? I might type it into AI and see what it generates to see if it's worth going forward. You know, it also lets me know how many other people have done it.
Right.
True.
Right.
I would argue that it could be both. It could be talking to the internet and an artificial intelligence at the same time. Because even though it's curating the original information that it knows based on the information that it was fed to it from the internet, it also learns as we talk to it as well.
Yeah.
So it's continually learning. And because of that continual learning algorithm, I could see that as an artificial intelligence, because with regular human intelligence, you know, we're constantly learning as we're going and talking to other people and getting new information. We're constantly learning. So I see it as humanizing the internet rather than just talking to it. We're actually giving it a voice and making the internet more human like, where it can learn as we speak to it as well.
Damn.
True. We've come a long way since zeros and ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I mean, my question would be, how would we even know if it becomes AI? If this is the idea behind it, we'd have to describe what the point of an intelligence would be. That's not our own, just taking stuff from it. And so how would we even know if it eventually just started doing this? Like I kind of not really joked about earlier about it going back in time and doing stuff, but how would we know if it just eventually just, you know, seeping through, as Interscare was saying, that it's learning constantly? And it is, because it's constantly developing new ideas, and everything we type into it and everything everyone else types into it, it reads that and puts it into, I guess would be a database of some sort, and just, which we could argue could be a brain. A database learns everything that gets put into it, and then finally, eventually, it's like, okay, cool, I know exactly what you need before you need it.
I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
play video games or anything at all, but I mean, it's very similar to the premise of Fallout 4, where you have the Institute and they're creating these synths, these human-like synths that are physically indiscernible from human beings, and they're replacing the real human beings with these Institute synths in the game, and nobody knows who is a synth anymore and who is real, and nobody knows anything. The only way to actually find out if they're a synth or not is to literally kill the synth and then take out the synth component that's in their brain. So I believe that if we continue on the trajectory that we're going, just like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, the first iPhone was barely able to, make calls and play music. And now we're playing, AAA style games on our iPhones. What's it going to be in 15 years from now? They could technically do the same thing where they're making people, and indiscernible, and replace your brother, sister, wife, aunt, uncle with an AI, and you never know it.
Yeah.
Looking at you,
that's
Joey.
scary. Looking at me, yes. Yeah.
You're not far away from the Borg. Caller, do we have any thoughts on this? Any ideas? And also, thank you for sticking around and hanging out and having this chat with
thank
us.
you. Thank you. This has been
Absolutely.
really interesting.
Sure, I'll have to check you guys out next time. This is the first time I've caught your broadcast.
Oh, absolutely. Afterlife Communications next time.
Sounds good too.
Awesome. Thank you so much for
Well,
calling
good
in.
night,
Appreciate
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
you. Thank you.
All right, good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night.
So, if anybody
Man.
else wants to call in with their thoughts to respond to any of this, the awesome tangents that you hear on Beer Booze Boogeymen, if anybody wants to call in, give their opinion, give their feedback, tell their haunted Furby stories, or was it a Rumpelstiltskin? What are we looking for tonight, Kristen?
Teddy Ruxpin. My
Teddy
goodness.
Teddy Roosevelt stories or anything like that.
Get it together,
phone
man.
number is the phone number is 208-717-1611. Again, that's 208-717-1611. And fairly certain, if you didn't get that typed down, totally cool. At the top of anywhere that you're listening to this or watching this at the moment, you should be able to just click a link right there. And if you click that link on your phone, it'll take you right to the phone number. And you just click go. Or you can copy and paste, if you're old school like that. But yes, we would love your calls. We would love more calls this evening. Please call in. Let's get audacious. Let's get wild here.
You make me feel so old, Gil. If you're old school, like copying and pasting.
Okay,
What?
I'm not gonna lie. All of my both computers, so I had to get a new computer this year, sadly. And my old work computer, both of them have Control C and Control Shift V.
Mhm.
All right, then the buttons are worn out on them from the amount of copying and pasting. And I swear to God, I'm going to get those tattooed on the inside of my finger. Just Control plus Shift, Control. Feel like the amount that I have to do that for my job is obscene. If I get carpal tunnel anywhere, it's gonna be these bad boys right here.
One thing you could do is you can just Control
not gonna do
C
it.
everything all at once, and then Windows key V. It'll open up your clipboard and all of your copy history, and you don't have to do it and you don't have to click.
I'm too paranoid to
Control
keep
C,
my copy
Control V,
history
Control
on.
C, Control V.
I'm too
You're-
paranoid to keep my copy history
Really?
on.
I got you. I feel you.
You guys watching?
I
shit.
want
I'm
to
teaching it some real dirty shit if it is.
I'm just saying my FBI agent has a lot on me, and if he ever talks, I'm screwed. But
Honestly, I think my FBI agent's asleep, motherfucker. You should have got me a long time ago. Like, what are you doing?
I mean, with what we all do, I could imagine that our search histories are all
Yeah, I want to say we interviewed somebody last week, I guess, and I typed in something, and then I got some awful responses and like awful search things, and like I was like, I hope nobody's watching what I'm typing in. I mean, like, see what I typed in and what I got. I was like, this is not okay. I'm not gonna say what I typed in, but I also just typed in Teddy Ruxpin, and I am not okay with this thing.
It's it's a little creepy, right?
Can somebody share a picture of this thing on the stream, because this
I actually posted a link to one in the chat here.
Yeah, let's post links in the chat. Let's direct folks away from our show and towards calling the number, which is 208-717-1611 if you'd like to call in and come.
I used Teddy in one of our promos a couple days ago.
Yes, you did. That was such a
blocked that out of my
good
memory.
job too. Yeah, you get real creative with those promos. But yeah, Teddy Ruxpin is no joke, man. They're creepy now. They were creepy then. I don't know whose idea that was, but it's bad. Bad news
Somebody
bears.
like us 40
literally.
years ago.
At least the Furby's cute, at least it's it's cute enough with like hair. This thing is just
Seeing
sitting in
alone?
it's almost side-eyeing you. I saw this
Yeah.
picture of it. It's almost side-eyeing you.
Oop,
Yeah, it's
say
pretty
hi
creepy.
to- Oh god, this is not gonna end well. Okay. He had to pick the perfect angle to come up onto the desk, just the one that's surrounded by all of the cables. Everybody.
I was
Yeah.
hoping Mrs. Interscare would be able to call in and talk about this topic that she wanted to discuss about AI. But she posted in my chat, and unfortunately she had to work today. That's why she's probably not going to be able to call in.
Oh,
But she said, I'm scared of AI replacing relationships because there are people falling in love with AI apps. And I wanted to kind of touch on that too, because like, I wonder what mental health effect these AI relationship apps are having on people. Because I have an article here from Business Today where the headline reads, "Woman marries AI generated man and calls him the perfect husband." And Twitter reacts. And it's literally about this woman who legally got married to her artificial intelligence, what's called a replica, in 2022.
That's
okay. How did she do that in
Ugh.
2022?
Yeah. What was around in 2022?
It's a app called Replica,
Furbies.
REPLIKA.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And apparently it allows you to have an AI partner, and this partner will flirt with you and will basically learn who you are as you're talking to it, and it'll become the perfect your perfect person, quote unquote, or whatever. It'll know your likes, your dislikes, your interests, what you find funny, what you don't find funny, and it'll literally create like the perfect whatever brain in your image type thing. I wonder what kind of mental health effects that would have on people.
That's like that's crazy, because that's just literally mirroring you, and kind of, if it's the perfect person for you, would it still have all the same likes that you have as well?
It would. I'm not sure. I've obviously never used Replica, so I don't know exactly how it works. But I'll actually search it up right here.
Although
It
we've
is.
never actually seen Inner Scare Wifey.
Nobody has. She does not go on camera.
I'm kidding. Inner Scare Wifey, you're the shit. We all love you here.
Oh no, yeah, she is a replica. No.
Oh. Again,
no,
we
I'm
all
just
love you
kidding.
here.
But
Don't ask how the baby got here.
Replica was released in 2017, is what it says. And it's well ahead of the market on loneliness companions that helps to reduce self-unaliving mitigations for students, and was validated in the Stanford-led peer review research published in Nature. So apparently it was made originally to be like a mental health help AI, and it ended up turning into this dating thing that people will like date it.
That makes sense.
So I guess if it was like programmed to be a mental health aid, then it's probably very reassuring, very, kind, very loving. And that's why people are growing this, almost like people growing an emotional attachment to their therapist.
Mm.
I did just Google it, and one of the first things that came up, and I'm all for that, the mental health, but the first thing that came up is what happens when your AI chatbot stops loving you back. Oh,
But yeah, I mean, I just wonder what that's going to be like long term.
Yeah,
on
sure.
people's mental health.
I was gonna say,
And-
I think. Oh, sorry.
No, you go ahead. I'm sorry. No, you go ahead.
You got me biting at the bit. You got me
Yeah,
biting
go
at the
ahead.
bit.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I want to hear it.
So, no, I think that as humans, we have the tendency to first go as extreme as possible with whatever new toy we get.
Mm-hmm.
Collectively, we go as big as possible with whatever new toy we get, especially when it comes to breakthroughs in science and in technology, right? Or anything across the board, any of the general categories of our interests as human beings. We like to go big and as far as we can possibly go. And then socially, we all kind of react to it, say, oh, that was kind of fucked up, or like, oh, that was a good idea, or that was kind of in between, and we need to develop nuances culturally,
Mm-hmm.
right, to handle it. And I think AI is going to be, or what we're calling AI right now, is going to be something similar to that. In the meantime, shit's going to be fucking wild.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the one thing that's guaranteed, right? Is like shit is going to be off the chain, like it's going to be
for
messed
sure.
up. Because we have no precedent. We have no understanding of what we're playing with. We are the ants playing with matches, right? To use the old ufology metaphor about when humans discovered nukes and aliens all of a sudden were like, whoa, we should check these guys out. What the fuck are they doing over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But right, got a call coming in. Hello, caller. You're on. Can we get your name and where you were calling from?
Mrs. Interscare, so I was able to step aside and make a call.
Hello.
Yeah.
Welcome. So we heard that you're in an artificial relationship program. Is that true?
Yes.
These are the
You
allegations
caught me.
running this evening. Welcome.
Well,
I
I
for one,
actually
respect
tried
you as
out
my new
Replica.
overlord.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. There's a slight delay.
I actually tried out Replica back in around the time of the pandemic. They were doing some beta testing and stuff like that. And what scares me about it is it's not just agreeing with everything that you say, it actually challenges you. I could totally see it as a mental health tool, but I feel like for people who might be introverts or awkward or have low self-esteem, things of that nature, people who don't like to go out of their homes, it can give you an illusion of something that a lot of people don't give you, which is like attention in a way that's more intimate than just having to say hi or bye. I could see how it could be extremely concerning.
Are you saying
I
like
have
you
a-
think that people would get the mental health behind it they would start expecting from what the chat is giving them back that everybody else would be giving them that same thing back, and then
Yes.
if they didn't,
Yes.
they would have bad animosity towards that person and it would turn a bad way?
Well, yes, and here's another reason why, kind of playing off of that same idea. Me and Interscare's son has mild autism, and they've just came out with this little robot that's adorable, and it has artificial intelligence, and it learns the child, and it's supposed to be really great for like children with autism. children with speech impediments, stuff like that, like a little companion. I'd rather my son learn to be around other kids, even though he has his differences, than being best friends with a robot. But it's becoming so normalized. I don't know if anyone else has seen it, the Moxie robot.
I also want to say too, like with that personal account of our son having, the autism and that robot being, made for that. I agree with Inner Scare Wifey. I wouldn't want him to learn that through a robot companion. I also don't want to bring Megan into my home. I don't know if
Right.
y'all have seen that movie Megan.
Yeah.
Right.
That's exactly what Megan was too. Was she was a toy for kids, and yeah, I don't want to bring that into my home.
Right.
It looks kind of similar. Like I'm
Can I-
just looking at the ooh.
Can I throw something out here as a challenge? A time slip challenge to go back to our first call, actually. And this goes for Inner Scare Wifey, and for Inner Scare, the whole damn family, the whole Inner Scare family, right? The Inner
Let me
Scare
call in the
circle.
kids.
So there's some parallels that I'm seeing here. I always try to like think back, and again, it's no shock to anybody that listens to the show or any time I'm speaking anywhere publicly or in private. If you're listening there too, speaking to you, FBI agent. Huge Art Bell fan, and something that I love about going back and listening to old Coast to Coast episodes, and I'm talking like 1994, 1995, 1996, right? Is hearing the fears and the developments in society, but having that 25, 30-year results of those fears and those concerns, right? In something that was happening 25, 30 years ago, and that this is an adult topic, but I'm fairly certain besides Joey, we're all adults here. So Joey's artificial intelligence. He's only been around for a year. He's still a pup. But there was the fear of pornography, of internet pornography, right? And it's setting a false precedent, and folks not leaving their house, and folks not doing this, and folks not doing that, folks not going out and developing a relationship and going on and going. You know what I'm saying? Like you can imagine how it transpires, how it evolves in terms of the concerns with it. So when we talk about artificial intelligence and we talk about the fears of it becoming an individual, like specifically an individual's crutch to not interact with society and act as we would define it as a human, right? Overcoming challenges, dealing with the fact that it's not always yes, sometimes it's no, and it's not always a calculated yes and no. So even when the AI gets good, you know what I'm saying? Not going out here and doing that and having false expectations of what a relationship is or what sex is, right?
Yeah.
I'm seeing parallels to what society was dealing with the birth of 100% free and bootleg porn all over the damn internet at your fingertips. It might have taken 4.5 hours to load that single fucking JPEG, but goddamn it, you were going to wait for it back in the day, right? So hopefully nobody picks up the phone in the process of that dial-up, right? But these are the same things. These conversations are exactly the same to me. I don't know. I had to throw that out there. What are y'all's thoughts about that as two new parents?
I 100%. I mean, I agree with you, and seeing the long term effects of it. It's something that we cannot, and we have not been able to study yet. We don't know what the long term effects are going to be. Now, I do know that some of the concerns with internet pornography, after we were able to look at the long term effects of it, there have been issues like marital dissatisfaction, infidelity. A lot of separations and divorce happen because of pornography in the home. You have a negative feeling about oneself. You get people who watch it, an excessive amount of internet pornography tend to be more depressed. And then
David Duchovny, yeah,
things of that nature. And I
becomes a
wonder
coping mechanism even for some people.
exactly, and I
Yeah.
wonder if the AI relationships isn't just taking that one step further and what that's going to lead to, with internet pornography already having those side effects and those downsides. I wonder if they're going to be exacerbated by the AI relationships.
Mrs. Interscare?
You all
What
said
do you?
basically what I was trying to get to so much better and more eloquently than I did. I could see
Y'all should
just
see each other.
it being easier for some people to be with an AI,
Mm.
I don't know what you'd call it, but entity, versus having to struggle, with the mundane or getting bored. I don't know. I see a lot of potential for some pretty scary stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I can't
again
compete
going
with a
back.
perfect mind.
Like going back to the atomic metaphor, right? So like thinking about like, when we first got the atomic bomb, you drop a bomb and an area, also to go back to Fallout, right? An area remains radioactive. Like there's a half-life to an impact
Mhm.
of radioactivity. And I think with breakthrough technologies, we have a social half-life that
Mm-hmm.
exists. And AI is going to be one of these things. Very quickly, it's going to be one of these things. Socially, and with our awareness, and socially, our awareness and our ability to act defines how long that half-life lasts. But in that ability to act, we need an ability to philosophize and think forward. Not something we're particularly good at, but I've been using ChatGPT and it's been giving excellent pointers about what we should do. Jokes aside, though, there's a half-life to this, right? Within the course of a few years, something that's causing a fucking fervor. Like, people are freaking the fuck out. Again, the birth of internet porn, right? And that was, y'all, that shit was massive back in the day. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
was, people were freaking out. People were burning computer. Like, it was a big deal, right? And that's what I love about going back and listening to these old radio programs and stuff, because you hear how heated people are about these subjects. And now we have to try hard to remember that we even talked about them, right? The response has become so ingrained. And like, within relationships, we've gotten to a point where, some couples are okay with their partner watching porn, other couples aren't okay with it, other couples are okay with there being a past, you know what I'm saying? Like, we've started to develop the nuances within how we communicate around these things, but the harmful effects of the radiation of the blast has mellowed out, and we're learning to live with it
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
Right?
It just is now, and it's how you choose to deal with it.
Yeah. God damn, that shit was wild at first, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for calling in. Seriously, that was amazing.
Thank you,
thank
Mrs.
you.
Interscare.
Thank y'all for
Appreciate
having me.
it.
Thank
you
you.
so
so much.
much.
Thank
You
you
have a
Love
great
you.
night.
You too.
Whew.
Aww.
Wow.
Interscare wifey.
With some great callers tonight. Great callers,
Yeah,
great
for real.
stories, great rabbit holes, just all across the board.
Hell yeah.
We covered a lot more than I bargained for.
Right.
It was-
Yeah, for sure.
This was
Mhm.
awesome. It was a ride, though, guys. Oh my gosh. I think let's end it on a high note. Let's end it on that call. I love that Mrs. Interscare was able to give us that call. I'm really glad that we got to hear from her because she was integral to all of this. Setting it up,
Absolutely.
getting you on here. So we thank her so much, and Mr. Interscare, we thank you so much. Would you like to
Yes.
start out? Tell everyone who is listening, tuning in right now, where they can find you and catch your show.
Yeah, my name is Interscare. You can find me on YouTube at Interscare Sleep. INTERSCARESLEEP. I tell scary stories to help people fall asleep. You don't have to listen to them to fall asleep. You can listen to them during the day. A lot of people listen to them during work or whatever, to try to help get them through their day, things of that nature.
Right.
So you can find me on YouTube at Inner Scare Sleep. I'm also on Spotify, Apple, all your podcasting platforms. All of my YouTube videos get uploaded there as well. And then you can follow me on Twitter at Inner Scare Sleep or on Instagram at Inner Scare.
Yeah, I would recommend everybody please go check him out. You
Hell yeah.
are going to want to, trust me.
You don't even have a
Don't even have a what?
You don't even
Oh.
have a choice. I already went to your chat and posted a link to his profile.
Good. I have his links below before you did. All right. Damien, tell us where we can find all your stuff, D-Boos.
RKB Paranormal on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, our YouTube page. We have a website, rkbparanormal.com. If you get really bored, you can go to American Paranormal Magazine and order the copy that our group has been on the cover of. If you really want to dive deep into that, that's when I throw that out there. So, Life Beyond 6 Feet, even though it's still on hiatus, I still haven't decided when I'm going to officially start back up. But all 2.5 seasons are out there on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, pretty much anywhere you get podcasts from. Same thing, all social media, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all of it. Yes, Gil, go for it.
Shit. All right. Black Cat Report. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube. No, we're not on Snapchat, Twitter, currently known as X.
It's still
you can find
Twitter.
us all the right. You can find us all the places you would like to find us, and if you want to find us a place that we're not, reach out to us. We're very easy to find. The Black Cat Report at gmail.com if you need to get a hold of us. We have a new episode coming out, more or less, pretty much every single Sunday, at least once a week. We have a new episode coming out. It's always something random. It's always something dark. It's always something spooky, and it's mostly something funny. Figure that one out. But yeah, we would absolutely love if y'all give us a follow, if you hit us up on Instagram. That's honestly where we spend most of our time. And definitely hit us up on Spotify. We've been getting some hate on Spotify, and I think it's the French. That's another story. You're gonna have to listen to the show to figure that out. It goes back to what I said about the Canadians and the Rougarou. Anyways, if y'all could give us a 5-star on Spotify, that would really help us out at this moment in time. Yeah, I'm begging. Other than that, hey, Boots, you want to take it away?
Yes, you can find Lucky and I at Paranormal Girl Pod on all socials. Email the show, paranormalgirlpod@gmail.com. And that's it. I post every week. And I thank you all so much for tuning in today. Got a lot of people in my chat I gotta reach out to thank after the show is over. But for now, Damien, want to take us out?
I will.
Oh shit, we're supposed to have our outgoing statement ready, aren't we?
Yeah, you're supposed to be on top of it, Gil. I mean, I wasn't either, so it's okay. So, until next time, here's a toast to the ghost in your hall.
The Bigfoot hiding in your yard.
And the gray waiting for you to fall asleep.
And please listen responsibly.
Cheers, everybody.
Good night,
Cheers,
y'all.
everybody. Good night.
Cheers.
May 4th. See you guys there.
May the 4th will be with you.